Welcome everybody to the Mindspring Capital podcast. I'm extremely excited today because I have a very, very special guest. I met her in Bahrain a few months ago very briefly, and I've managed to convince her to come onto the podcast. She holds a key position at the General Sports Authority in Bahrain, and she's also a coach. She is also a coach of a men's basketball team in the National League of Bahrain. Quite amazing. Fatima Reyadh, welcome to the Mindspring podcast. Lovely to have you here. How are you doing?
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
It's wonderful to have you on. So I don't want to tell everybody about you because for me, you're an extremely inspiring person. I want you to introduce yourself. As much as you're the humble person that you are, I want you to tell everyone a little bit about yourself so we can get this started. Who is Fatima Reyadh?
So, okay, I'll start with my name is Fatima Reyadh. I'm 34 years old. I'm a single mom to a beautiful daughter. She's 7, by the way. I work at the General Sports Authority. And as you said, I'm a basketball coach. I'm a business graduate, though. Completely different words. And yeah.
Fantastic. I told you were humble. There's a lot more to you than that as well. And the first thing I think that really, comes to mind with a lot of people is that, fine, you're a basketball coach, but you're a basketball coach to a men's team. Now, this is not very common. Let's face it. Let's just broach that straight away. This is not common at all. And I remember one article I read of you, and there's this amazing picture of you standing sternly in front of this giant basketball player. And I think, wow, this is quite an incredible situation that we've got a woman coach in a men's basketball team in the National League. How did that come about?
Well, I started coaching like 8 years ago. I started with the ladies national team. I moved my way up to boys under 17, under 21 for maybe 5 years. And then I got this position I'm in for 2 seasons now.
And how did that get accepted? When they made the decision to bring in Fatima to coach this men's team, how did the players react? Did you get any reaction there?
They were totally fine with it. Yeah, they were supportive. I coached like half of them when they were younger, so it was totally fine. They didn't treat me as a lady. They were treating me as a coach. I'm there as a coach.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so
That's
lots
wonderful.
of respect. Yeah.
I have to say that one of my own personal experiences when I was in Bahrain, and when I know that a lot of the listeners are from Europe and from the States, and when people think about the Middle East and GCC countries, I don't think people understand just how much respect women get. I remember in many of the meetings that I was in, there were very senior women in the room, and it gave me a lot of pleasure to understand that the place that women get in Bahrain was very comforting. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Not only to do with sport, but the respect you get as a woman and the place you have.
I think mostly it's because our religion, it's you have to respect women equally as you do for men. So we all have the same level of respect. Doesn't matter if you're a woman, you're a man, we're all the same, basically. So you get treated the way you're treating people.
As it should be, really, let's face it.
Yes.
But unfortunately, in many countries in the world, it doesn't often work like that. And going back to the sports standing, the sports industry is very male dominated. It's just how it has always been. And so that's why when we think about a female coach of a men's team, that's an outlier. And I want to applaud you on that. You've done an incredible job just to get to this situation. And you said before you did coach the national team, the women's national team.
Yes, I was the assistant coach. It was amazing. It was a nice experience. I don't want to work with ladies anymore again. I just don't want to do that again. Because basically they're all my friends, so I don't want to deal with them. I used to play with them. That's why they're all my friends. I don't want to do that again. I'm happy with the position I'm in. Like, let's say 8 years ago, when I first entered the basketball coaching field, I wasn't as accepted as I'm today. They were, some people against me being there, saying it's just for males. Like, you don't understand anything, you're not smart enough, you won't make it, you're just here for the show, you're just gonna stay for a year or two and then leave. I proved them wrong.
How did you cope with that challenge?
I It was quite hard at the beginning, but because my mom used to coach the national team, ladies national team, she came up to me and she was like, "Okay, listen, you have to listen to this. You either be strong and stay in that field, or you leave. If you can handle all the pressure, stay. Do whatever you want to do. Do what you love." So I was like, okay, I love this. I want to do this. I want to improve myself. I want to build an image for Bahraini women that they can do whatever they set their minds to. So I was like, okay, at the beginning, I used to get hurt, and then I just do this. Listen from here and out. I don't get like before. I used to get hurt before, and then no, not anymore.
So you had to grow some thick skin to cope
Yes,
with these things.
yes, and
Yeah, I'm
ignores
sure.
many people.
For sure. Was there any moment that you had almost a break that you said, I just can't handle this anymore. I don't want to cope with it, or were you always so strong in
I
strong-willed?
had one moment where I think basically people they don't know I can speak four languages. So they were talking in a language they didn't know that I know, and they were like gossiping about me, saying I can't do this and I won't reach anywhere. That was 5 years ago, and I basically said to them, "Watch me," in their language.
Wow. So that was an important day. That's probably stayed
Yes,
in your mind ever since.
yes, it did.
Amazing. I'm not going to ask you to expose which languages you speak because maybe you'll find out other things going forward as well. So
Yeah.
we don't want to let the world know. You mentioned your mother just before, and I'd like to take you back a little bit to your childhood. You know, you've obviously grown into this very impressive and inspiring character and figurehead. Not just in Bahrain. For me, it's much wider than that. Can you point to specific people in your life, and I'm sure that your mother is going to be one of them. Where did this inspiration come from? Was it discussions at home? Was it the support you got at home? Was it someone else that gave you that inspiration?
Like mainly, I'd say it's my mom because yani, she used to coach the national team. She's a doctor for PE, and also my sister. My sister plays handball for the national team. So we grow up in a family that sport is there. We had to do any kind of sport. So it's always been there since I was a kid. Since I was 5 or 6, I used to go with my mom to basketball sessions. I used to like watch them. I was amazed of the way they're playing basketball. I got fans like I want to do this, but I started doing other sports before I had to basketball.
So, but I'm not going to let you off that easily because there's one thing growing up in a sporty family and going to play sports, etc. But you've taken it to a very different level. You've taken it to a leadership level. And that goes beyond physical talent and ability. That requires a certain character and a certain strength that you clearly have. And that's the one I want to know. Where did that come from?
Okay.
Who gave you that? Who gave you that support along the way?
Okay, I would say it's definitely my brother because me and my brother were twins, and I got yani, amazed of the way he was treating me. He was treating me like a boy, a girl, both. So growing up with a twin brother, playing soccer, playing basketball, playing everything with him, I got used to it. I used to play with the boys in the neighborhood soccer, so I got that personality. I can keep up with the boys. So yeah,
Yeah, incredible, incredible. So it's really a lot of gratitude to your family. As you say, you got your
yes,
sister, your mother, your brother, and giving you that support. And it still feels to me that a lot of that is helping you become a sports professional. But there's an extra thing there, Fatima. There's an extra thing there that seems to be innate within you, to be a shining light and a
that
guide to others.
my heart, my daughter. Like I want to set an example for her. I want her to know whatever she sets her mind to, she will do it. She can achieve it. No one can stop her. Like I want to be her role model, and
Amazing,
she's been
amazing. So
always
the
there
moment.
for me. And all of my matches, all of my sessions, she's there. She's ha ha mama. She's clapping and she's shouting and she's doing all that.
How beautiful.
And she's so proud of me
That's
whenever I go pick her up from school and she's telling her friends, look, look, that's my mom. She's a basketball coach. Look at my mom. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's beautiful. When we can get inspired by our children, that's one of the most powerful things. That's a lovely thing to have
Yes,
said, really. And so you'll say, so since she's 7 years old, you said?
she's 7. Yes.
So
As
since
soon
she was
as
born, you've
soon as
been
yeah, when she started walking, I took her everywhere with me, everywhere,
amazing,
literally everywhere.
amazing. What a fantastic experience for her. And now you've
Yeah.
opened up the world for her, and that's wonderful to be inspired and driven and motivated by your own child. It's a superb
Yes.
thing.
And by the way, she
So,
hates basketball. She loves football. Yes.
how do you feel about that?
I'm giving her her space. She can do whatever she wants to.
Wonderful. And is she like her mom on the football field? Does she play like her mom?
Yes, she's a very good football player.
Wonderful, wonderful. And inshallah, may she play one day for Bahrain. I was
Inshallah.
very impressed when I was in Bahrain talking to the Football Association, some very good people there,
Mm,
and it would be good to see her coming up through the youth teams and just
inshallah.
enjoying the game. I think that's the most important thing, Inshallah, definitely. Um, so, how do you think further about the impact? I hope you realize, Fatima, that you have an impact and an inspiration on, the wider community. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that's a big responsibility on your shoulders?
It's a big responsibility, of course. It's kind of a pressure, but at the same time, I feel like I'm not doing anything special. I'm just being me. I'm just doing my job. I'm doing what I love. I don't feel it's that big of a deal.
That's a
I'm
beautiful
being
thing, but that's
humble.
when we do amazing things. When we
Yeah.
adjust ourselves and we actually push ourselves forward as ourselves, we can create amazing things. Because I'm telling you, whether you don't know it or not, you are an amazing inspiration already
Thank you
at,
so
at your
much.
young age to a lot of people. And this is one of the main reasons I wanted to have you on our podcast, is because I think that you can be an inspiration to people around the world
Yes.
a female leader in sports. It's a wonderful thing. So let's talk about a couple of other sports. I've embarrassed you enough now. So and I'm going to continue actually. So you're also a black belt in Taekwondo, yes?
Yes, second, two done black belt.
So, second down black belt. Okay. So if any of these
Yes,
basketball
yes.
players give you any problems, you can kick the crap out of them.
Yes, and they always tease me about that. They're like, okay, don't do anything to her. She's gonna kick us.
Yeah. So it's good. Keep them a bit scared of you as well.
Yes.
And when we talk, thinking a bit about martial arts, did you feel that your involvement in Taekwondo had a psychological and mental impact as well on you? Because martial arts often it strengthens us emotionally as well as physically.
Yes, it gave me the ability to grow stronger, strong mind. It made me who I am today, like a tough person.
Wonderful. And now we're going to talk about swimming, another sport
Yes,
where you were in the first national
yes,
team, as I believe.
yes,
I've done my research. I,
yes,
I, I checked it all out. So,
yes,
so tell
yes.
me about the swimming. We're gonna find out if there are any more sports that you've played for the national side for.
I did swimming when I was in primary school. For 6 years, maybe, we were, me and my cousin, we were among the first national team to represent Bahrain. We participated in many events, competitions out of Bahrain. We didn't win anything though, but we were proud to be representing Bahrain because,
Wonderful. What was your greatest?
swimming was not a thing back then. So just
Of
us
course.
being the first, yeah.
What was your favorite memory of going somewhere specific and having an experience with the team?
Swimming. It was a competition in Jordan, the Arab competition. It was our first competition as a GCC country, as Bahrain. Oh, we finished last, but that made me train harder, like work double the amount of effort, trying to get into their shape, maybe their speed. So it was a win-win situation for us. I didn't like it though.
No, it's not. Look, on the sports field or in the
Yeah.
pool, it's difficult to lose. But as long as we can take it forward and learn from it. But I can imagine the trip home from Jordan was tough coming in last.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's not easy. But that's one of the joys of team sports, isn't it? We
Yeah,
win together, we lose together.
we lose together, yes, basically. And that made us wake up and train harder and do more.
How old were you when that happened?
Maybe 12, 13.
Okay. It's quite a
Yeah.
building experience at a very, very significant
Young
age.
age, yes.
Fantastic. So have we got any more sports that we haven't discussed yet that you've represented Bahrain for or you coach for, or what else have
I
I
didn't
missed?
represent Bahrain, but I do play badminton because my mom used to play for the national team and she won Arab's gold medal. So we do play badminton with her.
Amazing. It sounds like your
Yeah.
mum's a superstar with all the stuff that
Yeah, she is.
she's
Yeah. We still
amazing.
play badminton with her, me and my sister. So we play two against her and she makes us cry.
Wow. Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. You're hopefully waiting for the time that you can overtake her.
I don't think we can ever do that.
Incredible, incredible. I know that it happened with my son when he was basically 14, he became better than me at football, so I gave up early. So, what do you think now for the next few years? What are your aspirations, Fatima? Where do you want to take your sporting aspirations and maybe even your business aspirations? You know, you're obviously a very intelligent woman. You've got a lot of talent. What are you looking to achieve in this world in the next few years?
I want to be a head coach of national team, Bahrain men's national team. I want to start up my own basketball academy. I want to get back in touch with the kids. So if you have strong fundamental stage group, you will have a strong national team. We don't have a ladies national team at the moment. I think they're all out. We need to build that from scratch again. So I want to work on that.
What a wonderful
Bahraini
aspiration.
ladies, they can and they will inshallah go up.
Inshallah, absolutely. And the aspiration to be involved in that and rebuilding the women's team and to be,
Yes,
inshallah, head coach of the national
inshallah.
team at one stage is a wonderful ambition. And
Yes.
I think that you're approaching it even from the first moment when you talk about the transition, building from an academy level. It's connected, in my view. You know, as someone who's worked in the sports industry for 20
Mm.
years, it's very connected. If we want to build for the future, it has to start at the academy level with the children.
Yes.
And we are building for the future, and hopefully the children we take from sports fans to amateur sports players and youth players and turn them into sports professionals. This is the future of our countries, of course,
Of
and I totally agree with you on this. I also see something else I wanted to talk to you about. When we take children, and I also love working with children in sports for this particular reason, whether they become a professional sports person or not, for me, is less important. I believe sports has an incredible impact on a person's life. It teaches them certain tools that can help them across the board. We spoke about a little bit
Yes.
about when you talk about taekwondo, but any sort of sport. Tell me a bit about your thoughts about that and what sport can teach children.
Any kind of sport can teach children. It can teach them discipline. And for me, the most important thing that kids nowadays know what discipline is, because nowadays everyone is so busy with iPads, iPhones, and they forgot how to enjoy themselves. They forgot how to go outside and play. They forgot the normal things that we used to do back then. So for me is to re-put those back into them and have inshallah a great team.
Yes, absolutely. Discipline. I also feel that it teaches resilience to a certain
Yes.
level. If we think about the experience you had at 12 going to the Jordan competition,
Mm.
that teaches resilience. And I think that
Yes.
sometimes in the modern day world, we don't allow our children to fail enough. We wrap them
Mm.
up in cotton wool and protect them, which is a real
Yes.
problem. I think that this is one of the ills of modern day. And I sound like an old man now, you know, how it used to be in our day. Children and people need to fail. We need to learn to cope with the world, and having those experiences through sport are character building.
Yes, exactly. How would you build your character if you never fail or do mistakes and have the chance to redo them again and learn from your mistakes? You won't be a strong person.
Absolutely. Okay, so let me ask you a hard question then. What was the biggest mistake or failure you had. And how did you cope with it?
I just told you the swimming thing.
Oh, come on, give me another one.
Yeah.
You're not getting off easy. Give me another one.
It wasn't a failure, as it was a very tough moment on me. So the last season, I had to play against Manoma. So our head coach had corona, so he was in quarantine. So I had to be there doing the head coach what he's doing. So the first 2 minutes I was standing on the line of 2 minutes of the game, I was standing on the line, crossing my arms, and I was thinking, why did I get into coaching? I just want to go home. I don't want to do this. Why am I doing this? Like mentally it was breaking me. And then within 2 minutes I'm like, no, I have to be there for my players. I need to focus. And I did it because there was a lot of pressure, media pressure. Everyone was looking at me. So you can imagine how hard it was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, you're not a standard coach. You're there in the limelight as a female coach on the sidelines. There's a huge amount of pressure.
Yes.
And if you fail, everyone will say it's because you're a woman. You know,
Exactly.
it's a problem. You said an interesting thing before, and I picked this up from you a couple of times in this conversation. One of the things that helped you get over that struggle, from what I heard from you just before, was you had to be there for your players. And I hear that when you talk about one of your greatest inspiration is your daughter and being there as a role model for your daughter. And I honestly believe that one of the best signs of leadership is when you're doing things for other people, when you're a servant leader and you're there to try and help and support other people. And that sounds exactly what I'm hearing from you as well, is that the thing that drives you is to be able to be there for others. Is that true for you?
Yes, of course. The only thing that makes me a bit special to my players than the other coaches, that I am there for them emotionally or mentally. So whenever they're going through something, they know they can talk to me. They know that I'll be there for them. I'll help them go through it. So I'm always there to my players. For my players, any other coaches, ladies coaches, kids, I'm always there. I'm trying to help everyone. I have this thing in me, I want to please everyone.
You got to be careful with that though. Trying to please everyone is not the same as leading everybody. You got to be a bit careful with that. But it's a characteristic which is very, very noble and is a natural characteristic of leaders, of natural leaders. And so well done on that again. You're showing amazing leadership skills with this. And I'm thinking about these examples, and I'd love you to share something with us if you can, of an example where one of your players needed your emotional assistance, not telling them how to run a pick and roll or whatever. Just give us an example if you can.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I have one of my players. He's talented. He doesn't know how talented he is. The moment he steps in court, he gets scared. So I had to be there for him mentally, between timeouts, whenever I can go and talk to him and telling him, push yourself. You're better than them. You can do it. You're amazing. He doesn't realize how amazing he is. And then he popped in one of the games and he proved everyone that he's an MVP.
Wow, that's amazing. And did he come back to you afterwards and explain how much of an impact you had?
Yes, he did.
Wonderful. So he appreciates it as well. That's terrific. Yeah. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, a couple of quick fire questions for you now. Obviously, you're all about sports. I love sports. Everyone who's listening to this is all about sports. What is your favorite and most inspiring sporting event that you ever witnessed? Whether you were there live or whether you watched it on TV, what was the one sporting event, a match or something that happened that filled you with inspiration or made you feel in the clouds?
It was, I think, FIFA football World Cup, Germany playing against Brazil, and they won 7-2. That was the best match I ever saw.
That was it. Yeah, although a lot of Brazilians will.
Although I'm not a football fan, though.
But it's really interesting that you picked that match, because I remember watching that match, and I've been analyzing football for many years. It's a big part of a company that I set up, and that match was brilliant example of how to prepare to face an opponent. If we talk about coaching, the Germans came so prepared for that match. They knew exactly where the weaknesses in the Brazilian side were, and they were playing in Brazil. This is 2014. And the Brazilian public were absolutely shocked. They couldn't believe that they had lost and were humiliated by an incredible German team. For me, that was it's a great example that you picked that one, because from a coaching perspective, this is preparation for team sports. And the first half, I think it was 5-1 at halftime. I think it's something crazy like that.
So, yeah,
and
something like
the German
that.
team were just every single attack. It was just, they were all over it. Where do you see basketball in the world at the moment? The gap between NBA and the rest of the world seems to me, as an amateur basketball viewer, seems huge. How do you view
that? For me, I think, as you said, it's huge. We have to do more to reach their level. They're on a different level already. So as Bahrainis, I think we have to not just work double or three amounts harder. We have to really work hard to reach that level, which I think it might be possible within 20 years from now.
20-year plan. You need it. You need someone very special to lead this effort, Fatima. I think that you're a good candidate for something like this.
Hopefully.
So talking about people now, we love sports. Can you tell me which sports personality has most inspired you, whether it's from your childhood or now? Is there someone who has given you most inspiration from the world of sports?
For me, I would say it's Phil Jackson. He managed to build a team with great players, with stars, and be there. Everyone is talking about them all around the world. Everyone knows them. There's no one doesn't know Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson. They know everyone. So he managed to do that in a very positive way.
And like I said, I'm not exactly a huge basketball fan, but watching the Netflix documentary, The Last Dance, was amazing for me. And seeing the leadership qualities. And again, we talked about leadership before. It's leading from the base. That's what it looked like to me. Instead of coming on top and saying, this is how it's all going to be done, he led that team to incredible heights. And to do it with such stars like Jordan in the team was really inspiring to watch that whole series and get educated a little bit about the Chicago Bulls of the 90s. I think that was amazing. Absolutely. So, okay, great. Phil Jackson. So we went for a coach rather than a player. Okay.
Yes.
And favorite basketball player of all time? Who's your favorite basketball player? Is it Michael Jordan?
Yes.
Inspiring guy, for sure. Why do you love Michael Jordan more than Kobe, more than LeBron? Why Michael?
He's a star. Those are just new names. For me, my personal opinion. Don't attack me for that.
No, it's a look, we can't argue with personal opinion. I agree with you, by the way. But for me, the most charismatic sports stars like Jordan, it's beyond what they did on the court. I mean, Jordan was unbelievable on the court, but so is LeBron, so was Kobe. But there's an impact on people's lives that people like Jordan, Muhammad Ali, for example, had.
Yes.
These are people who had impacts way beyond their sporting endeavors. That's for me why I believe, and I agree with you. I think MJ was the best basketball player of all time. Again, not as a basketball expert like you, but that's how I saw it. Wonderful, excellent. So Fatima, where do we take it from here? What's your just to wrap up, your one word of advice for someone who's, let's say 17, 18, that young age, and they want to be in sports and they want to drive forward. What's your one word of advice for them?
Never let anyone decide what your limit is. Never.
Absolutely beautiful. And tell yourself that every single day.
Yes, I do.
Excellent. I love that. Wonderful. Fatima, this has been absolutely wonderful. And I look forward to meeting you again sometime soon, hopefully.
Inshallah.
And inshallah, may you go on to great things. And congratulations on all the great work you've done so far. And I look forward to one day seeing you very soon as the head coach of the national basketball team in Bahrain. And may your dreams come, inshallah. Fatima Reyadh,
thank you for having
pleasure.
me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.